There are a lot of legendary armor sets in Fallout 4, and some of them can give you some really amazing benefits. So in this video, I will be showing you some legendary armor sets that you don't want to miss in Fallout 4. Starting off with the Black Ops armor set, which you can purchase from Deb at Bunker Hill. There will only be 2 pieces to this armor set, which will be the chest piece and the right leg. The chest piece will give you 29 damage and energy resistance, and it will give you +1 strength and +1 endurance, making it a good choice for tankier builds. While the Black Ops right shin guard will give you 15 damage and energy resistance, but the perk on it will increase your movement speed by 10%. Deb will also be selling the Destroyer's left arm, which will reduce damage while blocking or sprinting by 15%. The Destroyer set is pretty good, so let's go over how to get the rest of the set. The helmet will come from the vendor Penny in Covenant, and the helmet will give you +1 charisma and +1 intelligence. Next up, we will need to head over to the Good Neighbor settlement and talk to the vendor Daisy. And she will be selling the Destroyer's chest piece and left leg. The chest piece will reduce damage from humans by 15%, and the left leg will increase the wearer's movement speed by 10%. And the final piece of this set will come from the vendor Alexis in Vault 81. And she will be selling the Destroyer's right leg, which will increase your movement speed by another 10%. While you're talking to Alexis, you can also purchase the Overseer's left and right arms. The right arm guard will reduce damage while you're standing still and not moving by 15%, and the left arm guard will reduce action point cost and VATS by 10%. For the next legendary armor set, you will need to go to the Good Neighbor settlement and talk to Cleo. This vendor will be selling the Devastator's chest piece and right leg. The chest piece will reflect 10% of melee damage back to the attacker, and the right leg will slow down time during combat when you are at 20% or less health, which is similar to using Jet, but it's free and you can't get addicted to it. So it's a great piece of gear if you find yourself using a lot of Jet. The next legendary armor set on this list can be found at the Diamond City Market. When you get here, talk to the vendor Arturo, and he will be selling the Protector's left and right arm guards. Both of these pieces will reduce damage from super mutants by 15%, for a total of 30% reduced damage from super mutants, which can be very helpful. While we're in Diamond City, we can also grab one piece of the next legendary armor set, which will come from Myrna, who will be the vendor to the right of Arturo. This vendor will be selling the Wastelander's chest piece, which will give you +1 agility and +1 perception. The next part of this set will come from the vendor Lucas Miller. Now this vendor can be a little tricky to track down as he will wander around the map, but the easiest place to find him will be at Bunker Hill. So head over to Bunker Hill and just wait for him to show up. Lucas will be selling the Wastelander's right leg, which will reduce damage from super mutants by 15%. Seeing as this is a leg piece, you can combine it with the Protector's arm guards from Arturo for a 45% reduction from super mutants. Lucas will also be selling the Mantis armor set. The Mantis left arm guard will give you a 10% chance to disarm melee attackers on hit, and the Mantis left leg will give you +1 agility and +1 perception. You can also purchase the first piece of the Champion armor set from Lucas, which will be the Champion left arm. This piece will give you +1 strength and +1 endurance. To get the rest of the champion set, you will need to talk to Becky Fallon at Fallon's basement in Diamond City. This store will be right beside the noodle shop in the market. Becky will be selling the champion chest piece and the champion right arm. The chest piece will reduce damage from robots by 15%, and the right arm will give you +1 agility and +1 perception. The next armor set on the list will come from the Rodwenn ship. When you get here, you can talk to the vendor on the ship to get the Commando chest piece and the Commando helmet. The Commando chest piece will increase action point refresh speed, and the Commando helmet will reduce action point cost in VATS by 10%. For the next legendary armor sets, you will need to head over to the Institute. When you get here, talk to the vendor and he will be selling 4 legendary armor pieces from 2 different sets, which will be the Mark II and Mark III synth sets. The Mark II synth chest piece will make enemies have a harder time detecting you while you're sneaking and not moving. The Mark II synth helmet gives you +1 agility and +1 perception. The Mark III synth chest piece grants increased energy and damage resistance the lower your health gets. And the Mark III synth right arm increases action point refresh speed. To get the next legendary armor set on this list, you will need to head over to the Mass Fusion building, and then work your way up to the 28th floor. This will be a little harder than it sounds, as after a certain point you will need to use a power armored jetpack to jump from ledge to ledge. But on the 28th floor you will find this hole in the wall leading into an office. Inside of that office you will find a safe with the free fall left and right legs inside of it. These legendary leg armors will protect you from all fall damage if you are wearing both legs. And the final legendary armor piece will come from the Hubris Comics building. On the top floor of this building near the lockers you will find the Grognax costume, which will increase your strength and melee damage. And those are some of the best legendary armor sets that you don't want to miss in Fallout 4, but I would love to know which of these are your favorites. I hope this video helped you and thank you for watching.